Hi my loves, if you've been looking for the perfect recipe for your groundnut soup, then this video is definitely for you because I'm about to share the best groundnut soup recipe you will ever see on the internet. My name is Ehi and you're welcome to my kitchen. Okay loves, so these are the ingredients that we're using for this recipe. Our key ingredient is the groundnut. So I'm using already toasted groundnut for this recipe, but you can also get the fresh ones from the market, toast it at home before using. Some people use the fresh ones like that without toasting it, but I do not advise it. I advise that you toast it, take off the skin. It's not very difficult, you just roll in between your fingers like so, and that's it, because it amps the flavor and gives the soup a better texture. We'll also be using some locust beans, also known as iru, some stockfish. This is a mixture of stockfish flesh and then the head, but it's just preference. Some palm oil, some shredded panla fish, also known as hake fish, some crayfish, onions, yellow habanero peppers and red Scotch bonnet peppers, some sliced pumpkin, also known as ugu, some sliced centi leaves, also known as efirin, and my smoked catfish. I don't think I ever make soup without this fish, guys. So I'm using a mixture of pumpkin and scent leaf, but it's just really preference for me. You can use any one you feel like using, or you can even use bitter leaves. So now we're just going to blend the iru with the crayfish, onions and pepper. So for this recipe, we're using some beef and shaki. I'd already pre-cooked my meat before now, so I'm just going to leave it to heat up a little bit before I add in the stockfish so that this cooks through. Add in some extra water and then cover up and allow this cook on medium-low heat for about 5 minutes. Whilst that is cooking, I'm going to go ahead to blend my groundnut. So I'm having to show this because I blend mine in a very different way. So I like to first use my food processor to blend it into a paste like form, but then it's not particularly smooth yet. It just looks like this. Yes, so the texture isn't very great yet for soup. Then I like to transfer it into my blender, add some water and blend. When I do this, I realize that the groundnut releases most of its oils already in the food processor before blending now. So I don't know, but it just amps the flavor of the soup for me. But this really is just preference for me. After 5 minutes, the stockfish is already cooked. That's softened a bit. I went ahead to add in my shredded panla, my shredded and deboned catfish, gave that a good mix. Then I added in the crayfish, pepper, onions and iru mixture. Gave it a good mix so that everything marries each other. Then cover that up and allowed it cook on medium-low heat for about 5 minutes. Now, after 5 minutes, your neighbors should already be gravitating towards your apartment because the aroma of this soup right now is something else. I added in some palm oil, tasted for seasoning and then adjusted the seasoning. Like I always say at this point, please, you can add salt, but I like to exclude salt from most of my meals. It's not like I don't use salt at all. I just exclude it when I can. I adjusted the seasoning, covered it up and allowed it come to a boil. Once this had come to a boil, I went in with my groundnut paste. You want to just turn all of that goodness in there and then give it a good mix so that everything marries each other. Now, a point to note when you're making groundnut soup: Groundnut soup burns very quickly, so you want to at this point reduce the heat and cook on low heat because it burns, it splashes a lot, so you want to be very very careful. And then it thickens as it cooks, so even after cooking, once it cools down, it thickens. So you do not want to make it overly thick at this point. You want it to be slightly light, maybe just this consistency. I added in a little bit of water to again loosen up the consistency. I know you think it may be light now, but don't worry, you will look at it later and you will see that it will thicken. So at this point, you want to cover it up and allow it cook on medium low heat for about 5 minutes. If you are using raw granite, you want it to cook for about 8 to 10 minutes. After 5 minutes, my loves, food is literally ready. Like, if you are not a vegetable person, you can have it at this point without having to do extra. Note that the soup has already started to thicken, so you are aiming for this consistency. You do not want it thicker than that because it will thicken as it cools. Because I'm a vegetable person, I went in with my vegetables. Like I said, you can use any vegetable of choice: bitter leaves, pumpkin, scent leaves, even spinach. They are good enough alternatives. I gave this a good mix, tasted my soup just to ensure that everything was in order, covered it up and allowed it simmer for about a minute. Guys, the aroma in your kitchen with this soup is something else. Beautiful thing about groundnut soup is you can have it with rice or swallow. Let me know if you are going to try this recipe, and if you loved watching it as much as I love making it. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you have not done that already. Please click the subscribe button, like, share and comment. Bye guys.